is FCN Frontline Report with Brenda Hines.
Hello, I'm Brenda Hines, and this is FCN Frontline Report, brought to you by Ford Education and Training. In our lead story, while the new Mustang won't officially debut in Ford showrooms until early December, the excitement is already beginning to build. Today, Frontline takes you behind the scenes for a sneak preview of the new vehicle and its development. With that story, here's FCN's John Fawson.
Mustang customers told Ford that they wanted the new 1994 car to capture the Mustang heritage, yet look more modern. The Mustang design team did this by incorporating some traditional Mustang styling cues in the new model. For instance, the 94 Mustang has a grille above the front bumper, which features a Mustang horse. The sides of the car have scoops, just like some earlier Mustangs. And the 3-bar tail lamp system, which also characterized early models, returns to the 1994 Mustang.
And we found out that the car looked like a Mustang by asking our customer if they knew what they were looking at. And they said, yeah, even without the horses, we can tell that's a Mustang. And that was key to us.
The final Mustang exterior design was one of 3 shown to customers in focus groups. This design was dubbed the Arnold Schwarzenegger. The first drawing was called the Bruce Jenner because it looked athletic and trim.
Our customer said, boy, it's a nice car, but it's too soft. It's too European, too Japanese looking.
At that point, designers did 2 more drawings. This one was called the Rambo,
which was even more aggressive and reminiscent of a stealth bomber versus an F-16, for instance. We researched all 3 of those cars and found out that the Arnold Schwarzenegger was the right car.
Just as the new Mustang's exterior draws on some traditional Mustang styling cues, so does the interior. For example, the driver and passenger are seated in a cockpit-style design.
Again, reminiscent of early sports cars, and if you look at some of the earlier Mustangs, you'll notice right from the very start they had a dual cockpit design.
The Mustang design team also emphasized a flowing shape to the interior.
The doors are integrated into the instrument panel, for instance, and all of the character lines and all of the shapes inside the car flow from the front to the rear and all the way back around again.
The Mustang interior also includes a new steering wheel with a Mustang emblem, new radio and climate controls, and a standalone digital clock. All of the changes were made with one group of people in mind.
I think we paid strict attention to like Mustang owners, people who know about Mustang and what they want. And we had an ear for that, and that kind of helped us develop the interior.
The new Mustang's interior also features new seats that are more comfortable and provide more support. At the Dearborn Proving Ground, I'm John Fawson reporting for FCN News.
With its December launch, the Mustang will be the first of 3 all-new vehicles Ford will be introducing in the 1994 model year. It will be followed in February by a new front-wheel drive minivan, the Windstar, and a new entry-level vehicle called Aspire, which will debut in the spring. However, customers won't have to wait that long to take advantage of another Ford offering. The company has announced that all of its 1994 products will come equipped with the brand new customer safety and security feature, free roadside assistance. FCN's Marion Strozier reports on the new comprehensive customer satisfaction program.
We've been listening to the voice of the customer for a long time and trying to adapt our processes and our programs to what they tell us is important.
That's why the company yesterday announced a new roadside assistance plan for every 1994 model vehicle sold. In the past, only Lincoln vehicles have been covered. Recent research shows customers have a strong need to feel secure and safe as they drive their vehicles. So unlike other roadside assistance plans, which simply dispatch a tow truck, Ford's roadside program pays attention to both the vehicle and its passengers. When receiving phone calls from stranded motorists, Ford and Lincoln Mercury customers will be asked,
"Do you feel safe?" And if they reply that they do not, we immediately dial the local authorities and tell them that there's a stranded car located at such and such a place. Would you dispatch someone there?
Another reason Ford's roadside assistance plan is unique is that it covers non-warranty problems, including customers who've been locked out of their vehicle, vehicles that have run out of gas, have flat tires, or need a battery charged. Ford is the first automaker to offer roadside assistance company-wide. Why is the company taking the lead?
Long-term satisfied customers that turn into loyal customers Secondly, we hope that our dealers and our field people will be able to use this with prospects to say, now here is another reason for you to think about buying a Ford or Lincoln or Mercury vehicle.
I'm Marion Strozier reporting for FCN News.
In addition to the free roadside assistance program, Ford will be offering its customers a number of new safety features for 1994. For one thing, all of its car lines and 4 of its truck lines will be equipped with standard driver side airbags. One of those airbag-equipped trucks will be the Ford F-Series. Recently, Detroit journalists got a demonstration of the airbag along with a look at some other F-Series changes for 1994. Vice President and Ford Division General Manager Ross Roberts demonstrated the F-Series airbag that will become standard equipment for the first time. The 1994 F-Series has other new features, including new seats and an optional turbo diesel engine.
We expect the F-Series to repeat as the #1 selling vehicle in America and the #1 selling vehicle in that segment. I think the most important change is, first of all, the airbag. That gives us a distinct competitive advantage over General Motors, and Chrysler will have it on their new truck, but they don't sell the volume that we do.
The Ford F-Series has been the full-size pickup sales leader for 16 straight years and the best-selling vehicle of any kind in the U.S. for 11 straight years. You'll find more details on improvements to the F-Series and all the new Ford vehicles in the 1994 Product Sourcebook available in your dealership. In more truck news, in the first 6 months of this year, the Ford Ranger was the 3rd best-selling truck in America, right behind the F-Series and the Chevrolet CK. In terms of compact pickup sales, it was more than 50,000 units ahead of its closest competitor, the Chevy S10. In an attempt to cut into Ranger's segment leadership, Chevrolet will be launching a redesigned S10 in 1994. FCN's Rob Maher was on the scene as Chevrolet unveiled the changes to its compact pickup entry.
The S10 is on the same platform as before, but is an all-new vehicle. GM truck designers took an unusual track in the redesign.
We really started that truck from the inside out, and we started with the consumer. Found out exactly what kinds of improvements they'd like to have, and the big message was increased interior space. So the very first thing we did was repackage the truck. The improved interior space gave us 3 inches additional shoulder room, 2 inches additional hip room. We were able to move the box back relative to the old truck, so we got increased seating position, more leg room.
The structuring of the outside was a challenge then, since they had less length with which to work.
The goal there was to improve the aerodynamics as well as improve the cabin noise. We spent a lot of time in sound reduction, transferring into the cabin, not only through the styling of the vehicle, but actually the body engineering team spent a tremendous amount of time investigating every available technology on sound deadening and sound management technologies.
There will be 4 models, a standard, super cab, 4-wheel, and 2-wheel S cruising version for the West Coast Young set. I'm Rob Maher reporting for FCN News.
Competition is heating up in another compact truck segment this year, and that's compact utilities. The Ford Explorer remains the dominant entry in the market, as it has been for the past 3 years. But as Rob now tells us, the shape of the segment is changing a little.
More than 25% of the segment so far this year has been captured by Explorer, single vehicle. Now, that's off from all of 1992, when we got about 1/3 of the segment, even though our sales are about equal.
The interesting thing about the compact sport utility vehicle segment is that it spans a wide price spectrum, so that not all vehicles in the arena compete with each other.
I don't think that there is very much cross-consideration of Geo-Trackers and S10 Blazers or Explorers. And likewise, Chrysler seems to have proven that the kinds of people who buy Grand Cherokees in the mid-20s, that's thousands of dollars, not age bracket, are quite a bit different from the kinds of people who buy the old Cherokee.
Pitkoff thinks this is the real growth market for the rest of the decade.
Since we introduced Explorer, that segment has grown more rapidly than minivans.
Compact sport utilities could be 25% of the total U.S. vehicle market by the end of the decade. I'm Rob Marr reporting for FCN News.
Ford is currently selling all of the Explorers it can build. In 1994, production is expected to increase by about 10,000 units. Availability will improve significantly in 1995 as production shifts to the St. Louis assembly plant. In our final story today, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration recently released the results of frontal crash tests on selected 1993 model vehicles. Here's John Fawson with a report on how the Ford vehicles performed in the tests.
The NHTSA test, similar to this one, although at a 90-degree angle, involves crashing a dummy-occupied vehicle into a barrier at 35 miles an hour. Even though that's 5 miles above the federal requirement, the safety agency conducts the tests to provide more information to consumers. The Ford Probe, along with the Ford Ranger, Explorer, Bronco, and Taurus, were among 37 different 1993 vehicles crashed by NHTSA in its NCAP, or New Car Assessment Program.
That's not very many data points to be able to say Ford is doing the best. But if you plot that right now and look at that right now, Ford is the best overall.
According to the NHTSA crash tests, some of the best Ford vehicles in preventing driver head injuries are the Bronco, Escort, and Taurus. All of the company vehicles tested scored below 1,000 for the driver. Among the vehicles that fared the worst in the NHTSA crash test were the Chevy Astrovan, Oldsmobile Achieva, Pontiac Grand Am, and Toyota T100 pickup. All of those vehicles exceeded the 1,000 level. According to NHTSA, that means the possibility exists for a serious driver head injury. I'm John Fawson reporting for FCN News.
And that about does it for this edition of FCN Frontline Report. We again remind you that the best place to find complete information on all the new Ford products for 1994 is the Product Sourcebook in your dealership. We hope Frontline is also helpful for you and that you'll continue to use the response cards to let us know how we can make it better. I'm Brenda Hines, and on behalf of Ford Education and Training and the entire Frontline staff, thanks for joining us.